Welcome back to my video. Today I'm going to show you how to test an oxygen sensor. I'm actually at the Despark college. That's where I am right now. It looks pretty gloomy today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through and demonstrate and explain about oxygen sensor, and that would be a very intensive diagnosis. Alright, so let me go to the scan tool first. Alright, I'll show you the scan tool. Over here we are using a KTS 340, which is from Bosch, and Despark is actually affiliated with Bosch, and we have free course for students. They study Bosch after their certification level 1 and followed by level 2, and we actually have quite a number of equipment which is from Bosch. Firstly is the Bosch KTS, and the second one would be the Oscilloscope FSA 720. I'm also going to do a demo on this, how to use an oscilloscope. And not forgetting, you can see here, this is a Bosch KTS 340 over here. Okay, using a multimeter. This is a basic multimeter, it's not a branded multimeter. So to check voltage, I should select 20 volt, which is direct DC over here. Alright, you can see over here. So 20 volt is ideal to test most sensors and also to test the battery voltage. And if I want to choose which one I should select, the leads over here, these red leads, should go to voltage over here, V, alright, which is V, because I'm checking the voltage, which is direct current. And black over here, black is always COM. Don't get confused, because there's no sign of minus or negative. There's no sign at all. So most multimeters will show you COM, which is COM, and COM always is here and it doesn't move at all. It stays at one place. Oxygen sensor, which is this one here, is located here at the exhaust manifold, and this is a typical 4-pin, or I would say it's a 4-wire oxygen sensor, and it's called a narrow band. And to let you know, I mean, I've forgotten something. I'm working on a Proton Saga FLX. It's a year 2012, and it's a 1.3. And this car has absolutely no problem. This car is fine, but I'm just gonna teach you, how to go further if you have an oxygen sensor problem, what you should do next, how to test the wiring, and how to test the O2 sensor. Alright, so as you can see here, we have 4 wires, which is, this two is heater, which is known as heater positive and heater negative. As you can see, these 2 wires, alright, over here. And it has a gray wire followed by a black. What I understand is, if it's a circuit design, knowing the color code, if you know the color code well, on most system, for a Proton cars, the most, if I say this is one of the latest ones, latest model, which is a new Proton Saga, and black is signal, gray is ground. But if I go back to other cars such as Toyota Myvi, Prodoa Myvi, which is our local car, those cars, if you see blue is signal. And of course, I've forgotten another one, which is the Mitsubishi Galant. That's also blue. So this is a similarity of color code. If you have blue, you should know it's a signal. And whereas this car, black is signal over here. So I'm going to show you how to test, how to determine which is signal. In order to test the oxygen sensor wiring, first I need to switch on the key, which the key is already on. And what I'm going to do is, this black lead is going to go to battery ground over here. This is the best ground, I would say. If you're going to go to a body over here, it's not good enough, because you don't have a good contact. because you have a paint on the body, there's not enough contact. So the best is to go on the battery, and this red over here, this red lead should go to this one of this pin here. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to back probe. The moment I back probe, I'm going to unplug the connector. When I unplug, I should see a variation. I should see a difference of voltage. So let me try the first pin here, because looking at this is there's two whites here, and going back here, because you must understand you can't back probe here. Of course you can get a voltage, but the moment you disconnect, this connector is going back to the oxygen sensor, so you won't get any kind of voltage the moment you disconnect, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from here, means this connector goes directly to the ECU. Certain wires goes to the ignition switch, some goes to the ground, to the body, certain wires goes to the ECU. Alright, so let me try on this, which is similar, which is white, goes all the way here. Okay. So what I'm doing right now, I'm getting a voltage. Alright, you can see is 12 volt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the connector. The moment I unplug, if I see the same voltage, means that is confirmed a 12 volt voltage from the ignition switch, or I would say from the battery. Alright, so let me try. Unplug, and you see there is a change, means it's not constant. So it's not 12 volt constant, means to me, I presume it's heater negative. Okay, let me connect it back. You're getting 12 volt. And let's go to the next one, which is the same color over here. It's the same color, goes all the way on this side, on the other side. And I still get 12, of course, but I'm going to do the same test, the same step. Unplug, and can you see here, when the moment is unplugged, is still showing at 12. That means this is constant 12. This is heater positive. So means heater positive is over here. Alright, over here this is heater positive, and heater negative should be the next one, which is over here, the white one over here. Okay, there's two. Can you see here? There's two here. Okay, how do I check for ground? Because most narrowband oxygen sensor has, there are a few types. They have single wire, they have two wires, they have three wires, they have four wires. But this one is a 4 wire. Most cars, I would say cars which comes with OBD2 system, they are mostly, that depends actually, but they're mostly 4 wire oxygen sensor. So 4 wire means it has one heater positive, one heater negative, one heater positive, one heater negative, either one, alright, because they're similar, two same colors. And one should be ground and one should be signal. So let's see which one is ground. So to me, on this model, I would say gray. This is gray. Gray should be ground. I'm going to back probe. They always say when you check ground, you should get about 0.02 volt. Alright, over here you can't see, there's nothing here. Over the multimeter. Okay. There's another method where you can actually go to buzzer over here, multimeter. Buzzer, which is the sound. You select all the way here, but be careful, make sure your key is not switched on. Go to buzzer. Okay, can you see? Okay, buzzer, and what you need to do is you need to switch off the key. Yeah? Alright, you need to switch off the key. Okay, once you've done that, and this one here goes to ground. Okay, can you hear that? There's a sound, means this wire is, it has a continuity. It's connected to ground. That's what it says. It's connected to ground. Alright. So now I'm gonna test the next wire, which is the signal. Obviously, if you know, there's two whites. The two whites is heater positive, heater negative, and the main concern is you need to test the signal wire, because you must understand O2 sensor, it reports the content of oxygen in the exhaust system, whether it's rich or lean. They call it rich or lean. Rich means you have more fuel, less oxygen. If it's lean, you have more oxygen, less, I would say, less, more oxygen, less fuel, alright? So I'm going to show you how to use a multimeter and test the signal wire, alright? So let's go back to the connector, okay? So I presume this is black over here, which is the signal. I'm going to back probe. We'll do the same thing, okay, all the way in. And make sure you go back to voltage. Don't make a mistake, because the moment you go to buzzer, you're going to kill the multimeter. You're going to blow the fuse for sure, because you must understand, going to resistance, going to buzzer, going to continuity, make sure there's no power supply, alright? That's completely off, alright? Okay, so over here you have the black leads, goes to ground, which is here. Okay, so I'm going to start the engine and see what's the voltage, and see a change of voltage. I'm so sorry about the interruption. I mean, I'm not really prepared, you know. Anyway, thanks to my crew over here. You know, they've been really, you know, staying late night and helping me out, you know. So it's you can see the voltage, which is 0.3 and 0.2, 0.3. You know what? In order to test an oxygen sensor, you have to make sure the engine is started, is warmed up, and make sure you know it's operating condition. And they always say that you need to step on the throttle, hold the throttle at 2,500 RPM, and to see a cross count. What does it mean by cross count? I would say it's a fluctuation. You should go 0.2, 0.8, 0.2, 0.8 all the time. You should go up and down all the time. As you can see here, up and down, up and down. But right now the engine is not revved up. The moment if it does that, means you have, that is a good sign, you have a good oxygen sensor. I'll get someone to rev the car. Just give me a minute, alright? Can you rev the car, please? Okay, as you hold the rev, you can see it's going up. About 0.2 or 0.8, you know, which you should do it at, you know, 9 times per minute, which is really fast, really quick. Sorry, not per minute, per second, huh? I was wrong. 9 times per second, not per minute, huh? Right? Okay, done. Okay, you can switch off the key. Okay, let's go to the next method. Okay, using an oscilloscope. This is a Bosch FSA 720, and this is kind of cool equipment. It's more like going to a doctor, checking your heart. This equipment, you can test a sensor, you can test an actuator. There's so many things you can do. You can even do a compression test. That's how cool it is. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually scrolling down and looking for the right thing to choose. All right. So as you can see here, it's a lambda sensor. This lambda sensor has two-step sensor. It has wideband, it has probe heating. Okay, so which one do I choose? I would say I would choose probe heating, because this oxygen sensor has 4 wires. Means it has heater positive, heater negative. If it's a two-step, that is a 2-wire oxygen sensor. It has a ground, it has a signal, it doesn't have a heater. That was an older design. And a wideband, it's a newer ones, which it's a totally different signal. It shows a different kind of waveform, let me go to basic first. On my next video, I will teach you how to test the wideband. And probe heating, it's the one that I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to double click. At first it looks very confusing, but as you get used to it, it's pretty simple. Alright. So as you can see here, this one here, you have the scale, which is the X and Y. Over here it's voltage. Over this way here it's the millisecond. And I'm going to select X, which is down here. As you can see down here, this is X. I'm going to choose 20 seconds. You can actually play around with this, you know. And Y, which is here, Y, I'm going to choose 1 volt, or this is 1 voltage. This is 1 volt. Means most oxygen sensors are below 1 volt. 1 volt means they don't go above 1 volt. That depends on the design. If it's a wideband, it goes above that. So 1 volt. Since I've done that, I have this 2 wires, which is yellow and blue. It depends. If you want to know which is positive or negative, it does not matter. You don't have to remember the color because it's blue and yellow. If you do it wrongly, what happens is the waveform goes upside down. Alright, it goes upside down. So I can just swap, turn it around to get it right. So I'm going to use this too, okay, which is more like a clip alligator. Alright, more like it. And I'm going to use this to show you how to use the test oxygen sensor. All right. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to back probe as well, which is the black wire, which I'm going to back probe. As you can see, it's over here. Black back probe, the black one, all the way in, all the way in. And let me take this away, which is my multimeter, which is in a way. Alright, so I have 2 of this. I'm not sure which is the right one. One goes to ground, battery ground, and the other one goes to this pin here, which is back probed. Alright, make sure it's intact, it's good. Alright, it's not loose. And I'm going to start the engine. Okay, go back to the screen. Going back to the screen, you can see it's going down, means I have done it wrongly. I've done it wrongly. Yeah? So sorry about this thing here. Let me see. Okay, let me turn it around. Oh, let me go back again. Okay, you can see, alright, it's going, arrow's going down. So I'm going to go back to the car. I'm going to take this out and go over here. And this one goes, this one here. Okay, let's go back to the screen and see what we get. Now you see, this is how it looks like. Most oxygen sensors should do that. If it's a narrow band, it should go at 02, 08, 02, 08. If you have this kind of waveform, not necessarily is good. There's so many other tests you can do. They always say drive the vehicle to check for, you know, the right waveform. For example, you full throttle, you go all the way full while you're driving your car, and if you get, you should go up and down, and you should go rich all the way. And if you say if it goes lean, means you have a bad fuel pump, you might have a bad a dirty MAP sensor, you know, all kinds of things. So this is my basic video. On my next video, I will show you how to do that. And the best way to test an oxygen sensor is to, you know, to rev the car at 2005 and to see, you know, you should have a linear, a smooth transition. You should have a smooth transition. You know, you should have 0208, and you must understand. Let me just stop this, pause this. Over here, it should be at same height, right? Should be same width all the way, all right? Okay, now the car's rev. Okay, can you see? It's much faster. But you know what? You need to hold the rev at 2005. You shouldn't blip the throttle. You shouldn't go, you know, higher or lower than that. You know, this is good enough, right? You can see over here is good enough. There, over here, it's a good sign. Oxygen sensor. Another step you can do is, what you can do is you can, okay, that's done. All right. Okay, another step what you can do is, they always say create a vacuum leak. The moment you create a vacuum leak, you should get a lean mixture. The moment you put more fuel into your intake system, you should get a rich mixture. And what I'm trying to say is, I'll show you on my next video how to do that. And this is all about basic diagnosis, right, of oxygen sensor. So what I'm going to do, the next one will be, we'll go back to the scan tool again. And my last shot will be how to test the wiring, alright? Wiring integrity test, okay? Stop. I'm going back to the scan tool after showing you how to use an oscilloscope and multimeter. Okay, looking at the scan tool, I will choose actual data and continue. You gotta give it a minute for it to load. It takes a bit of time. Okay, so right now I'm going to scroll down and look for oxygen sensor bang 1 sensor 1, which is this one here, which is the voltage, and tick and continue. What I'm getting right now is 0.385. I'm going to start the engine to see what's the signal like. You need to wait for a while, give it a minute for it to warm up, because oxygen sensor will take some time for it to read the oxygen content in the exhaust system. So what it's doing right now is reading, is going rich, is going lean, is going rich, is going lean, is 0.2, 0.8, 0.2, 0.8. This is a good sign, means the O2 is good. And the next step is, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to teach you how to check the signal wire. What I mean is the wiring. From this connector here, alright, you might have an open circuit. So I'm going to test this wiring from this connector all the way to the ECU, which is a very easy method. Would take about 2 minutes. Most people would take 45 minutes. Can you off the engine, please? Thank you. Okay, so you know what? On most design cars, if you want to check whether you have a good signal wire, which is not bad, means you might have a short to ground, you might have an open circuit, which takes most of the time, it takes a longer time to test. And most people would actually test from the ECU to the connector, which there's a waste of time anyway. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to disconnect. Okay, looking at this, what I need to do is, I need to switch on the key first, okay, to see for a voltage, alright. What I'm seeing right now is 0.1. So to test for signal, I'm going to disconnect the connector, O2 sensor connector. Once I do that, I should get a bias voltage, means I should get about 0.4, 0.5. If you get that, means it's a good sign, your wiring is good. I'm not talking about heater, but I'm talking about just the signal wire. Alright, so let's try that. I'm gonna disconnect. Done. And let's look at the scan tool. You went up to 0.4, which is almost close to 0.5, means you have a good signal wire. I would say this is a integrity test. Means your wire is not bad, it doesn't have an open circuit, doesn't have a short to ground. Alright. If you have, for instance, you get 0, means you might have a short to ground, the signal is short to ground, or you might have an open circuit. Alright, maybe I will do a next video to test how to test a short to ground O2 sensor. This is just a basic, all right? So if you want to test for heater positive, heater negative, and ground, I've already done the test. I've showed you how to do it. So this is basically how you do it, you know, to test an oxygen sensor, which is also known a lambda sensor. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and please keep watching my video again. I will make more videos in future, which there will be more sensors to test. There's more to come. So I will put this on YouTube. I'll post this, all right, so you can watch this and to get better understanding. Okay, so that's about it for today, and thank you.